The 70 weeks prophecy of Daniel is one of the most important prophetic statements in the Old Testament, as it contains precise chronological information about the identity, purpose and ministry of the Messiah. It provides a wonderful proof that Jesus Christ is indeed the promised Messiah, and that he has established the new covenant as promised by God, firstly for the people of Judah, and then subsequently opening up the new covenant era promises to the Gentiles. It has become popular over the last 170 or so years to apply what has become known as the Futurist interpretation to Daniel 9 verses 24 to 27. This Futurist theory places the last prophetic week of the 70 weeks of Daniel at some indeterminate time in the future, in which a supposed Antichrist figure is said to arise, making and breaking a covenant with the Jews. This theory is also connected with what has become known as the secret rapture, a belief that select members of the church will be caught up secretly or raptured either before or during a period Futurists call the Great Tribulation. Futurists also believe that a third temple will be built in Jerusalem during this last period. This brief presentation will not address the details of Futurism. The origins and errors of Futurism will be covered in a separate presentation dealing with the subject of the secret rapture. Daniel's 70 weeks prophecy, like all other prophecies involving specific prophetic timescales, is based on the continuous proven historical approach to interpreting Bible prophecy. So let's turn to Daniel chapter 9 and verses 24 through to 27, where we find the details of this important prophecy. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city, to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins, and to make reconciliation for iniquity, and to bring in everlasting righteousness, and to seal up the vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. Know therefore and understand, that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks, and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublous times. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood. And unto the end of the war desolations are determined. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. We now examine the chronology of Daniel's 70-week prophecy in detail. A total of 70 prophetic weeks are allocated from beginning to end as one contiguous uninterrupted period. 70 weeks equates to 490 actual solar years. This is based on the following. A week equals 7 days, therefore 70 weeks equals 70 times 7 days, or 490 days. Keeping in mind that these are 490 prophetic days, they equate to 490 actual solar years, based on the day for a year principle established in Numbers 14 verse 34 and Ezekiel 4 verse 6. From the beginning of the allocated period to the Messiah is 69 prophetic weeks, which equates to 483 actual solar years. The final 70th prophetic week, which is 7 actual years, takes us from the appearance of the Messiah to the conclusion of the prophetic period allocated. The prophetic period starts with an initial 7 weeks of prophetic years, or 49 actual years. This commenced from the decree authorizing the restoration and rebuilding of Jerusalem. Although at least 4 decrees were issued under the Persians to authorize rebuilding, the decree made under Artaxerxes II in 457 BC is the most complete, details of which are recorded in Ezra chapter 7. The first 49 years were occupied with the rebuilding, re-establishment of temple services, and completion of the walled defenses of Jerusalem, a task that was delayed through great opposition, aptly described by Daniel as being built again in troublous times. The next 62 prophetic weeks equates to 434 actual solar years. This period leads up to the appearance of the Prince, the Messiah. Counting forward 434 years from 408 BC brings us to 27 AD. This corresponds to the baptism and anointing of Jesus Christ as the Messiah. We now enter the final prophetic week of 7 years. Daniel 9 and verse 27 states that he, that is the Messiah, shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst, that is in the very middle of that week, he would cause all sacrifice and oblation to cease. From 27 AD, Jesus carried out a 3.5-year ministry, at the end of which he was crucified in 30 AD. This effectively ended the Old Testament system of sacrifices, being superseded by the ultimate sacrifice of Christ himself, once for all. The remaining 3.5 years, completing the last prophetic week and the entire 70 weeks prophecy, concluded in 34 AD, which marked the rejection of the Jewish Sanhedrin, the representative council of the entire Jewish people, with the stoning of Stephen, as recorded in Acts chapter 7. Thus we find that the original purpose of the 70 weeks allocated was fulfilled in the perfect sacrifice of Jesus Christ, the Prince, the Messiah. He was cut off, but not for his own sins. He came to die for the sins of all mankind, and to open up the way for reconciliation. We read in Hebrews 9 verse 28, So Christ was once offered to bear the sins of many, and unto them that look for him shall he appear the second time without sin unto salvation. As described in Daniel 9 verse 26, the other prince that was to come would destroy the city and the sanctuary. Matthew 24 and verse 2 records the words of Jesus Christ, that not one stone of the temple would be left upon another that would not be thrown down. In 70 AD, exactly 40 years after Christ's declaration, this was fulfilled. The Roman leader Titus destroyed Jerusalem and the temple, leaving the Jews in a state of desolation. Although God has allowed the Jews to return to Jerusalem after a period of 2,520 years of Gentile domination, in fulfillment of the times of the Gentiles, yet the Temple Mount is still a place of desolation, and Jerusalem remains a cup of trembling unto all nations. This is a situation set to continue until the actual return of Jesus Christ.